Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this update from us in Nordic Unmanned regarding our logistic business unit. I'm Knut Roar Wiig, CEO of Nordic Unmanned, and with me today I have Kristensen. He's VP of the logistics area. So we'll talk through the recent award with the Equinor contract, what this means for us in the short and longer term, our expectations of the Norwegian continental shelf market space, and also on other updates on the logistical side. So first of all, I'll just give we'll go back to our logistics strategy, what we have communicated to the market before. This is a very important area for us. We are expecting it to be our biggest contributor to the 2025 revenue target, with a revenue expectation in 2025 of 1.5 billion NOK. And the interesting bit is the dynamics between the system integrator part of that revenue and the operation part of that revenue. We are expecting the operations to come from business to government and business to business, like Equinor represents. And the system integrator side will come from the Stalker and Skid systems. It's urgent and high-value delivery offshore and for niche applications that we have been focusing on, and short-range suburban deliveries. And if we look at the horizon model here, on the integration side, we are expecting scaled-up delivery systems from 2023 and full delivery systems in 2025. So it's less mature than the cargo side that we are going to talk about today, where we are already doing initial deliveries. We are expecting the scaled-up deliveries to be happening in 2023, and full delivery offerings in somewhere before 2025. And I think it's also important to understand that as the cargo side is more mature, some of the customers will most probably scale up into the integrated solution as the volume and demand is increasing, and as autonomy and technology is maturing as well.
Yes, and then a little bit to the concept. So as a part of this, we have now announced market that we are introducing Nordic Unmanned Cargo. Within that concept, we have a concept called offshore point to multipoint that is building on our previous flights that we conducted with Equinor in 2020, and is now building on the contract that we have recently been awarded. So this contract that we were awarded with Equinor, we were awarded on the 22nd of December in 2021. This is, from our knowledge, this is the largest drone logistics contract awarded in Europe. It has a value of 2.7 million euros, and it's a 12-month contract with an almost immediate startup. So the startup of the contract was the 3rd of January. So we already have a team of more than 10 people working now to start up this contract and preparing for the operation and setting up the procedures and doing the technical preparation necessary for this contract. As a scope of this kind of the key parts of the scope for this contract is that we are conducting a 170 kilometers cargo flight between Mongstad, a supply base on the west coast of Norway, where we're flying out to Gullfaks field, and this flight will be done with crew only on the supply base at Mongstad. Come back a little bit to the details. We will also be mobilized in field, so at the Gullfaks installation, where we will conduct the daily multi-point cargo deliveries between installations in the Tampen area, with 2 other installations, 2 vessels, and others in that area. That is, most of these installations are within a range of 30 kilometers. In addition, we will also introduce an interesting future where we will fly a subsea unmanned intervention device from the installation, fly out and then launch this into the water. You see this the Elum on the right-hand side. It looks like it's a snake robot. In addition to this, we will also perform search and rescue operations and conduct various types of inspections at the field. Yeah, and here's a quick video from the previous flight that was conducted in 2020 with Equinor. Yes, so this video was from the flight that was the demo flight that was conducted between Mongstad and Troll in 2020. And this was to kind of demonstrate these capabilities, both for technical point of view and also regular point of view from regulations, and also for us as an operator. So this was an important step for us. What we're not doing now is kind of we're taking this to the next level. So here we are. Last time we conducted a flight between the supply base and the offshore installation that was 80 kilometers. We had crew on both sides, and we did a handover in between. This time we will have only have crew present on the supply base. We'll fly out. We will land autonomously or with assisted piloting on the offshore installation. Shut down the aircraft, deliver the cargo, and this time we can deliver cargo up to 50 kilos. Once that is done, the local crew on the installation is then will clear helideck, and we will start up the aircraft again and return back to the supply base. This is to be done without any crew involvement. We will have safety crew on the installation, but they will not be involved in the flight operations. So this is kind of taking the scalability of this one to the next level, because here we can introduce the multiple installations that we can fly to. In addition to conduct the flights between onshore and offshore, we will also be mobilized on the actual offshore installation for a longer period, where we will conduct multiple flights. So we will conduct flights from the offshore installation to other installations in the area, also with the camcopter, where we will land, deliver cargo to multiple installations, and then return back again. We will also conduct inspections and search and rescue operations from the field center. In addition to that, as you see up in the middle of the screen, we will fly out from the installation to deploy the unmanned intervention device. So this is what we'll do with the camcopter. In addition, we will have our own BG class logistics drone on the installation, where we'll fly out from the installation, fly to support vessels, and winch down cargo packages to these vessels. We can conduct these type of operations also when the vessels are moving, where we have a QR code based on deck on the vessel. The drone will follow the vessel, and then when it's approaching the vessel, it will go over to the QR code and follow this one, and then winch down the package to the vessel. It can deliver packages to multiple vessels on the same flight. So this is kind of an important part of this concept, that there will be offshore operations where we'll conduct different types of operations when we are in field. With regards to the technology that we'll be using for this contract and to support the concept, we will be utilizing the Stalker BG300. This is developed by Nordic Unmanned for short-range multi-point cargo deliveries and set up to operate in an urban and an offshore environment. Key facts about the system: so we can do multi-point cargo deliveries. We have a dual winch on this one. What we'll do is we fly over a point, the drone will position with the QR code, and then we will initiate the winching sequence, so we can winch down the package, or we can land on this QR code to deliver the package on the ground. If we fly and land with the drone, we can deliver cargo packages we have cargo capacity up to 20 kilos. Range on this one, we have LTE on the drone. So normal range is approximately 30 kilometers, but this is pending on the cargo, on the weight that we're carrying. Yeah, with the QR code, we have autonomous takeoff and landing on this one. This is also a system that is we have been operating this one for quite some years now on the west coast of Norway. So the wind limit on this one is we can operate in up to 20 meters per second wind. This is also a battery-powered system, so no CO2 emissions during these operations. We're also utilizing the camcopter S100 for these operations. So this is the system that will be utilized to fly in between the supply base and the offshore installation, and also for the in-field operations. This is a larger platform, multi-purpose, fitted with multiple a multi-payload configuration. So we will conduct with both side-mounted cargo boxes, different sensors, sling load, etc. for these within this concept. Yeah, this system has a cargo capacity up to 50 kilos. The cargo compartments is either a belly-mounted sling load or a side-mounted cargo box. And with this system is also integrated with Airbus Deck Finder that we will be installed on the offshore installations that will be assisting in the landing stage. Endurance of this system is normally 6 hours, but can be up to 10 hours with an additional fuel tank. range is normally 200 kilometers. This is with these systems. It's also we reduce the CO2 emissions with this as well. So it's 99% less emissions than a traditional offshore helicopter when utilizing these.
So if we look at the timeline of offshore logistics, so we started this with a feasibility study for Equinor back in Q1 2020. And that feasibility study led to the operation we did, which you saw the video from back in August 2020. Then followed by a recommendation after that, went into a study that we announced to the market in the beginning of last year, that happened during Q2 in 2021. And then now we are in 2020, where we will have a 12-month contract with different stages. Now on the preparing stage, then we're gonna start flying in Q2, the first flights. So this is now, and it's back in 2020. I think everybody thought it was quite futuristic to actually be conducting a flight out in the North Sea with a drone, and doing this what we are doing. But now it's becoming a reality with the contract we just got awarded. So it's time to look into what does this mean for the future. So the asset that we're going to use for 2022 is our existing asset. So there's no capex involved from our side to conduct this contract. At least not substantial. It's more development in-house and part of the contract. So moving into 2023, we are expecting the scale up of this market to start happening. So the first permanent long range delivery route we expect to be established on the Norwegian continental shelf. And the first permanent in-field logistics service we also expect to be established in 2023. Then moving into 2024, we are expecting that the first heavy cargo delivery will be conducted, and then we are talking about 200 kilo plus. So the higher, the better, and it's both our technology maturing, and a bit of development needed from the OEMs, but it's definitely within reach to do this in 2024. And in 2025, we expect the first permanent heavy cargo delivery routes to be established on the Norwegian continental shelf. And our current flight permit allows for this. The current regulatory environment in Norway also allows for this. There are details to be worked out in the cooperation between Equinor, the Avinor, which is controlling the airspace in the North Sea, and the Norwegian Civil Aviation authorities. But everybody is very positive, and everybody sees this great opportunity that this is bringing. So then if you look at this is the timeline. This is what we are just basically planning for at this point. So if you go to the next slide, you can see what this means as far as the identified target market we are seeing. So in 2022, sorry, you see that the market is 3 million euros. Basically, it's more or less the current contract. That's the thing that's going on. There could be a couple of small things happening, but that's what we are looking for. Then in 23, the establishment and scale up is happening with 6 million euros. Then a rapid step up in 24, 22 million euros, and in 23 of 33 million euros. That's a compounded annual growth rate of 175%. And the drivers for the market is up on the top here. It's the oil fields in production, the number of platform support vessels in the North Sea, the number of producing installations and the rigs that are out in the North Sea. And if you see the map on the right side here, this is the Norwegian continental shelf, and you see some of the main platforms and known platforms, just to give a perspective of the scale of this. And the red dots on land, the northernmost is the Mongstad supply base, and the southernmost is the office of the headquarters of Nordic Unmanned. So we are. These are estimates based on us and based on our knowledge in what the market is looking for, and how quickly we think it's possible to scale this. But it's not taken into consideration a full implementation yet. So it's a combination of several things, both smaller and larger drones, search and rescue, logistics, inspections, and many services that these assets could be providing at the same time, with logistics as the main driver of this. So if you look at this, the next interesting bit is, okay, so doing this in the North Sea. North Sea is one of the hardest areas in the energy sector in the world to operate, due to the high winds, high seas, temperature, and so on. So the interesting side is, how could we scale this to other offshore oil fields in the future, and in the short-term future. So these are the areas we are focusing on now, and the concept that we are building is built to be scalable into the other areas. And in fact, Equinor is leading the energy industry at this, the offshore energy industry at this point, with the approach they have, and that's driving a lot of interest towards us from these other areas. So that's offshore oil and gas, and then obviously offshore wind. It's another area that will come as well, which is less mature at this point, but it's another area where we're looking into the scalability of this service that we are developing.
Yes. Sorry. And then a little bit to, as previously announced, we're also, Nordic Unmanned Cargo also has a concept that is a more urban concept. So it's an urban point to multi-point. So we have entered into an agreement, or we have launched this concept, and we have entered into an agreement with Bærum kommune, where it's an area just outside South Oslo, where we will conduct some operations for them. This was intended to be started just before Christmas, but due to the ongoing COVID pandemic, it was decided to postpone this one. So we now expect to start up this one in February. So this was due to that this is a pilot project for starting this one up. It was decided to postpone this one. So the concept here with the kind of urban point to multi-point is typical, as you see on this sketch, where we have tried to kind of simulate this one. You have a storage facility, or a point A, and you can we will utilize the same drone as we're doing in the offshore concept. It's a PG 300, where we then fly from one point with two packages on a dual winch, and then we fly out to a point, let's say we fly from a point A, we fly out to a point B, where there is a QR code placed on the ground. The drone will fly to this GPS point, and then when it arrives at that point, it will look for this code and then position at a certain height, winch down the package that will automatically release when it hits the ground, winch up again, move to the next location, do exactly the same position, winch down, and then return back to the warehouse or to the starting point. The configuration that we have on the drones here is that we have some additional. We have, for example, added a parachute to it, and we have some other functionalities in order to reduce the ground risk and allow a flight permit for this type of operations. It's also possible here, kind of with the multi-point, we can do 2 times 2.5 kilos for these deliveries. And if we do single point, we can do up to 20 kilos with this one. Yeah.
So if we look at this from what are we establishing? So we're looking into establishing logistical routes. So standardized routes for transporting high value urgency goods for business to government or business to business customers. So with this as an example, you can see here our route planning. So the customer knows when to expect the goods to be arriving at a given time agreed. They will have the QR code ready, which is a verification and proof of right delivery point and right receiver of the goods. And they will be receiving the goods. So if we look at this on why urban is interesting in many areas and in this area in particular, so the time it takes to fly, it's the same for the day. There's no rush hour in the air. So at this area, this could be 4 or 5 times quicker than delivering with a car. And we also see that for car delivery, obviously we are flying electrical drone here, so the CO2 emission is 0, and there could be electrical car, but the car will still be taking part in the dust. That is an issue in urban areas and especially in the winter. So it's a very environmental friendly way of getting this delivered. And for us, the interesting bit is how many of these customers could we find? How many of the municipals or other local governmental customers or regional or national governmental customers have similar demands, and how many would there be in outside Norway as well? So it's a very interesting project, and for us there is a great synergy, obviously, between using the same technology and developing the same technology and using it both for important inland or onshore application, and then the same thing for offshore application. So actually it goes hand in hand with this. So I think we are on time for going over to the Q&A side of it. I'm not going to take your time too long. So we have had one question in already here. And yes, there are in the project with Equinor, we have 3 subcontractors. We have Schiebel Aircraft. They are providing the camcopter and certain developments for getting this integrated into the operation in the way we want with regards to autonomous takeoff and landing in particular. Then we have Airbus that are providing a landing and takeoff system, which is called Deck Finder. Which is integrated both on the air vehicle and on the helipad that we are landing on, and then it's the Planck Aerosystems, which are also providing a autonomous takeoff landing system. That's a software-based optical detection based on the QR code, and the subcontractors are very important in this project, and it's as we're seeing more and more in this industry that working very closely together in ecosystems is giving us the speed that we want to achieve. So for the future going forward, the Stalker BD300 will have a QR code standardized as a landing system, which provides higher or reduces risk on takeoff and landing, but it also gives us the ability to do GPS-free takeoff and landing in GPS in areas where GPS could be infected by structures and other elements. It also gives us the possibility to take off and land on moving vessels. It's got a hive compensation built into the software. So we can be compensated, or the software compensates for hive and pitch and roll. And that is another element. But overall, I think it's important to understand that there will be a standardization of how to land on an offshore asset in the Norwegian continental shelf. And the project is part of trying to figure out what that standardization should be. So we don't see a future where pilots will be conducting takeoff and landings. That should be done autonomously, and the technology is mature enough for that at this point. Then yeah, I would just quickly take the last two here that is coming in here. So it's up to Equinor. They are the owner of Illumen, and they will be deciding how it's going to be operated. We will just be deploying it into the water. So the cargo flight itself is fully automatic, so meaning that it's programmed and it flies, and then there will be a pilot that will be programming it and monitoring it, and then be interfering if needed at this point. But it will. We are building up our operational center at the same time. And especially for the Stalker BG 300 operations, we are planning for our development over the next couple of years, where one remote operator sitting with us will be handling more and more systems at the same time. So the autonomy will be developing. Okay, and then last question here that's in the chat. Will you communicate financial guidance for 2022? We will communicate on the 18th of February, the Q4 number, where we will communicate some financial guidance. It's not, we have obviously not built the report yet. So we will come back to the details of financial guidance we will be providing. But our main overall principle is that we like to be as transparent and open to the market as possible. So we know that's appreciated, and we'll see how much or how detailed guidance we're going to give. Okay, JC, for your email question. Yeah, so if you look at the target, if you split it in two, so we're saying 15% is going to be service, which is 225 million NOK, and then the rest is going to be system integrator. So we don't have a capex need in 2022 to do anything within the logistic area. Besides just the in-house development that we are conducting on the Stalker, and also that's the revenue that we are expecting for logistics this year is all organic. We are very unsure if it's possible to buy any revenue within this area, since it's so immature and so early days that there are a few others. So we're not planning to do our M&A strategy attached to achieving the numbers. We think that market growth itself is going to give us the numbers. So the road of the operational side of this, so the 15% that's already in place, and we think the the Norwegian continental shelf is going to give us a nice part of the 225 million NOK, that will be in euros around 22 or 23 million euros. Then the system integration side, it's a global number. That's going to be a combined of different systems, and then selling systems and then providing operations of them will be a combined solution.
Yeah, so that's kind of we provide this service to our customers, but we've said our focus is on a high value and time critical goods. So that's kind of that will justify the investing in kind of setting up these systems. But we see once we kind of have the infrastructure in place, it's possible to kind of utilize these routes to also transport other cargo that is not that time critical or high value, but it's those that will be the drivers.
And also dangerous goods. We have, obviously, a drone has different regulations on transporting dangerous goods than a manned helicopter would have. So that's another area that's interesting for this.
And this is also a part of this concept and this contract to kind of to transport dangerous goods with the drones. Yeah, so I can say a little bit about that. So kind of what we're doing is that we provide the kind of the logistics service and the deployment service. So we don't have any kind of integration or anything with Loom or any other kind of devices that we will deploy. What we provide is that we provide the kind of cargo carrying capacity. So we can attach this or other systems to the drone by sling load, fly out, and then deploy this into the operational environment if it's subsea or wherever it is. So our kind of interface for this project stops us at this point, but
it's a natural development that the drones will have interaction with subsea operations. So in this case, it's a very specific scope that's going to be tested. But going forward, I think both hydrophones, picking up, dropping, supporting other subsea operations would be definitely something that will be explored and should be explored in the North Sea.
Yeah, and we have already performed studies for other operating oil and gas companies how to utilize these systems with, for example, hydrophones to fly out, deploy these in order to receive acoustic signals and others from. So we're kind of opening up this segment of between the aerial and the subsea. And we believe that there will be a lot of opportunities there in the future to kind of bridge that gap, and that's also kind of today normally larger offshore support vessels are being used to kind of go out to collect and perform rather simple tasks, and that's where we can kind of be supporting with the drones in the future to fly out and launch and drop different objects in order to reduce emissions and reduce cost for these type of operations.
Okay, there is a question here about the S92 or Sikorsky S92, which is the current manned helicopters used on the Norwegian continental shelf, when they will be drone operated. And there is programs for this for the armed forces in the US, but it's going to take a very long time. It's a technology that's going to be first coming into the military before it comes into a civilian world. So it's not going to happen within our 5-year period that we are describing. That seems to be very short. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's for 2022. It's million, not billion. So 2022, it's the estimate. It's just including what we have described today. So basically, one camcopter system and one system of Stalker BD300. The camcopter system will be containing of 2 air vehicles, and the Stalker BD300 will most probably contain of 3 air vehicles. Then moving into to 23, another camcopter system is added, so it contains 2 camcopter systems. And when we come up to 25, so the 33 million, it contains both system integrated and operated Stalker BT300s on several platforms. It contains several Sheeple camcopters, and it also contains 2 heavy lift drones with a lifting capacity hopefully well above 200 kilos. So that's the numbers that we are basing it on. So again, it's based not on what we think the total market would be. That's our assumption of the identified target market based on our knowledge as of now. Yeah, the capex need this year in 22, as I said, it's based on our existing drones. There is some development that we are doing. So we are talking about a capex need that's less than €500,000, and split between some development on the camcopter, but mainly on the Stalker BT300. So it's part of our ongoing investment into our IPR. For 23, there will be an added capex need if we go for one additional camcopter. That's going to be depending on the configuration, but around 4 to 5 million euros. And in 25, we do not yet know the final price for the heavy lift cargo drones we are looking at. So that number we have to disclose at a later stage. Yeah, so as we are describing, there is a market now that we have 100%, more or less. We don't see any other big contracts out there for 22. To fly on the Norwegian continental shelf will take a look, and it will also take a permit from the Norwegian Civil Aviation Authority. You have to fly from a Norwegian base. And you have to have a Norwegian crew to do it. So we assume there will be competitors, but we haven't identified any competitors with these ambitions at this point. Which means that yes, there will be competition, but we are a front runner in this part of the drone industry, and we have been for the last couple of years. So we think we're very well positioned to take a substantial part of this market as we go forward. Yeah, so thank you all for listening in, and we will be trying to give more updates both on the logistical side, but also on our other business verticals throughout the year. And do feel free to send in more questions if you have to ir@nordicunmanned.com. And we will get back to you as soon as possible. And we are expecting also social media and other updates on this project throughout the year as it progresses as well. So hopefully more nice videos will be available when just describing the progress in the project. So thanks you all for listening in, and have a great weekend when the time comes.
Thank you very much.